All right, let's play a clip from semi-Pelagian Dr. Braxton Hunter, semi-Pelagian and Molinist Dr. Braxton Hunter on the issue of determinism. The best argument against Calvinism with Dr. Braxton Hunter on capturing Christianity. I'm about 4 minutes, 10 seconds into this video. Let's listen to what Dr. Hunter says about determinism.
Or at the very least, that when you choose to do something, some things anyway, that nothing external to you determined what you would do. That's libertarian free will. And simply put, it's what a lot of people just already think they have. Determinism, on the other hand, is like on naturalistic determinism, it would be something like, well, the past history of the universe, or at the very least, that when you...
It's just started over, so that's fine. But let's listen again, because here he's going to tell us what determinism is, but he's not going to know what he's talking about right here. Let's listen.
To do something, some things anyway, that nothing external to you determined what you would do.
That's libertarian freedom. Nothing external to you determined what you would do. Nothing external to you determined what you would do. Okay, so this is a man, obviously semi-Pelagian, Molinist, Jesuit Molinism is what he promulgates, false theology from the papal Antichrist itself, is what he promulgates, Molinism. But he obviously exalts what he thinks is human free will as the power of contrary choice, which that's not how the Bible defines human libertarian free will. Anyway, but because it's defined as a will that never assents to any erroneous, false, or lying propositions, and a will that never wills to do anything other than that which is good and well-pleasing to God. That is not the power of contrary choice. Okay, free will is this definition here, not the power of contrary choice. That's the definition that Dr. Braxton Hunter holds to as free will. So when he says free will, he means the power of contrary choice. But he just said, with regard to determinism, he does not like theistic determinism, or as I've called it, divine decisional decretal determinism. That is the position that I hold to, divine determinism or theistic determinism. God, from before the creation, has decreed whatsoever would come to pass in time in his creation. And that gives rise to his omniprescience of all the things that would happen in time in his own creation, is his divine decisional decree. Decisional, he has the power of contrary choice. God alone possesses the power of contrary choice, not creatures. Versus, here's what Braxton Hunter doesn't understand. Let's listen one more time.
Free will.
Okay.
Ended up doing. Or at the very least, that when you choose to do something, some things anyway, that nothing external to you determined what you would do. That's
nothing external to you determined what you would do. So here is the Leighton Flowers, semi-Pelagian, for example, says, we are the determiners of our own determinations. Dr. Braxton Hunter, semi-Pelagian / Molinist, declared, nothing external to you determined what you would do. In other words, you determined what you would do. This is called egocentric determinism. Okay? Egocentric or anthropocentric, egocentric determinism. Ego from the Greek means I or me. It's I-centered, me-focused. Anthropos means man or man-focused, man-centered. But does he notice that he is, in fact, a determinist? He's not a theistic determinist. He is a me-centered, egocentric determinist. And all because he holds to a false definition of human libertarian free will. Egocentric determinism, anthropocentric determinists. Men who assert free will is the power of contrary choice are in fact anthropocentric determinists. Put another way, these men are egocentric determinists. Ego from Greek means I. Self-centered, me-focused. Individual subjectivism is the sine qua non of the synergistic fallacies. Of course, underlying all the synergistic presuppositions is a false definition of human libertarian free will, which they falsely define as the power of contrary choice. Okay, so you can't get away from determinism, egocentric determinism. And then, let's see, I was going to go look real quickly here. So instead of recognizing that the triune God determines whatsoever comes to pass, theistic determinism, synergists must usurp God's authority and power over his creation and his determining of how the events in time and the choices creatures make would play out in his creation temporally. The synergist places the human will and its determinations at the forefront. Okay, this leads to a deistic view of God, that God creates and then sort of steps aside and doesn't interfere much at all. But here is, I chose Daniel chapters 2 and Daniel chapter 7 as my text for God's decretive will playing out in time and God being able to prophesy and tell Daniel in this instance what will come to pass. The rise and fall of empires means that God himself not only knows that these empires would rise and fall, but that he has actually decreed them to rise and fall. Put another way, God has predestined or foreordained whatsoever would come to pass in his creation and with his creatures in time. God's omnipresence is infallible. Let's see, undermines... Yeah, contrary to the fallacious assertion that theistic determinism undermines the revelation of Scripture, Calvinists could rightly assert that, in fact, egocentric or anthropocentric determinism is what the Scriptures refute over and over again. See, this is the problem I have with these neo-semi-Pelagians, whether they're Molinists, there's a bunch of open theists running around, or dynamic omniscience is what they're calling open theism now, because they always want to get away from the labels. But they cannot help but affirm egocentric determinism. So they're all a bunch of determinists. I'm a theistic determinist. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Talk to you soon. Soli Deo Gloria.